WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble event is this Friday, April 27th, 2018, on the WWE Network from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. It'll be starting at 12 noon Eastern Time, so people out on the West Coast, you're going to have to get up early to watch this, at least to start, because it will be starting at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. The rumored time for how long it's going to last is about 6 hours. So basically all afternoon on Friday, or half the morning and the first part of the afternoon for you people out on the West Coast. But first time this event is taking place, first time ever, the Greatest Royal Rumble event. We'll have to see if in the end if it withstands that name. We've had some great Royal Rumbles in the past, but them naming this the Greatest Royal Rumble event of all time, we'll have to see how it plays out. There are a lot of great matches, 7 championship matches if I'm not mistaken. No women on the card. There's been a lot of backlash for that, but it is what it is. Talk to the Saudi and Arabian government about that if you want to get a good answer. But as I said, this Friday, WWE Network, I will be watching it. I will be also on Periscope. If you did not watch or haven't seen on social media, haven't watched the NFL schedule video from last week and last week, at the end of it, or like I said, saw on social media, starting Thursday night with the NFL Draft, the 2018 NFL Draft, I will be streaming live on Periscope. The link is in the description below, along with all the other links for social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel here. So be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But the Periscope link is also down there, so be sure to watch me this Thursday night, streaming the NFL Draft, getting my live reaction, and also on Friday with the WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble event. So I'll be watching both those live, and you can get my reaction as everything happens. So without further ado, I'll get into my predictions today for what I think is going to happen this Friday at the WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble event in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. First match, Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander is defending his title. Up until just moments ago, it was to be determined. On 205 Live, they had a gauntlet match. Kalisto ended up winning that, became the #1 contender then. So he is going to be going up against Cedric Alexander in Cedric Alexander's first title defense of the Cruiserweight Championship. I think Alexander will win. I think he'll hold the title for a while. Make him the face of 205 Live for the foreseeable future. Just because I think WWE's going to want to get that, get 205 Live going in the right direction. Because if they don't, very, very soon, it's going to be getting. I mean, it has gotten a little bit better, but if they don't fix it now, it's going to be going away. Long story short, so I think Cedric Alexander wins, holds the title for a very, very long time, and especially with Bruno Sammartino passing away last week. So rest in peace, Bruno, native of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not that far from here. So people in our area, you know, close ties to Mr. Sammartino, but the WWE might be on a kick right now, especially with Bruno's 2 reigns as champion back in the WWF. Back in the day, he held the title for, I believe, 8 years for the first time, and then 3 years the second time. So combined 11 years total as champion. So I think Vince, especially with Bruno basically being the face of the company back in the day, and then you got Andre the Giant, then you got Hulk Hogan, then you got Stone Cold and The Rock. Now you have you know, John Cena basically, and now you're trying to get, you know, Roman Reigns to be the face of the company. But I think Vince especially is gonna be, for some people, some champions, gonna be having whoever the champion is hold the title for a very, very long time. So I think Cedric Alexander retains his Cruiserweight Championship. Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy then. Woken Wyatt, Woken Hardy, whatever the hell you want to call them. They'll be going up against the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus for the vacant Raw tag titles. If you remember WrestleMania 34, which was basically a go-home show, go-home pay-per-view show for this Greatest Royal Rumble event. WrestleMania 34 really, I didn't think it was as good as last year, especially I said that, I believe, in my thoughts and opinions video following WrestleMania weekend. But if you remember WrestleMania weekend, the Bar lost their tag titles to Braun Strowman and his mystery partner, which ended up being a 10-year-old, Nicholas, John Cone, one of the referees in WWE, his son. And then they vacated the titles the next night because obviously Nicholas has Skull. He has other obligations to do, as I said. And then that gets Braun out of the tag division, gets him back as a singles competitor. But I mean, he did tag with Bobby Lashley this past week on Monday Night Raw against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I don't know if they'll keep them as a tag team or not. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, yes. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, I don't know. But if you remember WrestleMania, then they had to vacate the titles. So with the Bar being champions before, they're getting a rematch. And then they had a tag team tournament on Raw for, I believe, 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Woken Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy won that tournament. They are the #1 contenders. With the Superstar shakeup now, I'll say this, I've said in the past, the tag team division on both Raw and SmackDown was, I thought, subpar. But now with the Superstar shakeup happening, I think it got, especially the tag division, got 10 times better. I think SmackDown won over Raw for that. I believe you can go watch that video as well right here on YouTube about the Superstar shakeup. But the Bar is on SmackDown now, so they got moved over from Raw to SmackDown in the Superstar shakeup. And this championship match is for the Raw tag titles. So, long story short, Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy will win this match and become tag team champions on Monday Night Raw. The Bludgeon Brothers go over to the SmackDown side for the tag titles. The Bludgeon Brothers will be defending the SmackDown tag titles for the first time ever against the former champions who they beat at WrestleMania, the Usos. I think the Bludgeon Brothers will win this match. They'll make them a strong tag team for the foreseeable future as well. Maybe have them as one of the tag teams or singles competitors to hold a championship for a very, very long time. So Bludgeon Brothers, I think, will defeat the Usos. And then the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship here. Jinder Mahal was the United States Champion. He was on SmackDown. He was the first guy that came over to Monday Night Raw during the Superstar shakeup. He ended up losing the Raw, or not the Raw United States Championship, the WWE United States Championship in a match against Jeff Hardy. Then the next night on SmackDown, Jeff Hardy came over to SmackDown. So Jeff Hardy's on SmackDown now, and Jinder Mahal's on Raw. And the thing is, too, it's all right, you know, if they have inner brand matches at all these pay-per-views, because all these pay-per-views now are dual branded. Backlash is coming up here within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. It's on Sunday, I believe May 6th, from New York City or New Jersey, I believe. But Seth Rollins is the Intercontinental Champion, and he's on Raw. So then once they brought over Jinder to Raw, everybody thought Rollins was going to go over to SmackDown. But then Jeff Hardy defeated Jinder Mahal. He went to SmackDown, so Rollins stays on Raw then. But then The Miz, who is one of the best Intercontinental Champions of all time, got switched over to SmackDown, along with Samoa Joe, who is in this Intercontinental Championship ladder match at this Greatest Royal Rumble event. So Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal, to clear things up, Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal are battling out in a singles match for the United States Championship. And then Seth Rollins is defending his Intercontinental Championship against Finn Balor, who could potentially win this match, and against The Miz and Samoa Joe, who are both on SmackDown Live. What I think is going to happen with the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, I think they're going to flip it back to how it was. They're going to have the they're going to flip back to what it was right when the Superstar Shakeup happened, because they brought Jinder over to Raw, but then the Intercontinental Championship was still on Raw. They can't have it, and I've said this before. You go back and watch videos. You can't have both mid-card titles on the same show. It just it's not going to work. You're going to have too much. You're going to have too much time on your hands. I guess you could say, and too many superstars. You're not going to have enough time. Excuse me. To fill both of those championships. So I think Jinder Mahal is going to get the United States Championship back. He's on Raw, so the U.S. title goes back to Raw. It was on SmackDown, but it goes back to Raw because Jinder came over in the Superstar Shakeup. Hopefully you're still with me and you understand what I'm saying. And then I think The Miz will win the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship, get his Intercontinental Championship back for the, I believe, record 9th time. He'll then tie Chris Jericho. I've said before within the past couple months, maybe you bring Jericho back here sometime soon, but then Fozzy is going back out on tour, so maybe they save this for the later part of the year, maybe early fall, right before Christmas maybe. Save a feud for The Miz and Chris Jericho, and then maybe get The Miz and Daniel Bryan for WrestleMania next year. But with Samoa Joe also in this ladder match, and Samoa Joe also on SmackDown alongside The Miz now. And what I think is going to happen later on with the Universal Championship, I think it's good Seth Rollins drops the belt. Finn Balor or Samoa Joe doesn't get pinned because it's a ladder match. Whoever is going to win this has to climb the ladder, grab the title, you win the championship then. So I think The Miz is going to win. The Miz and Samoa Joe will be in a feud for a little bit because Samoa Joe's on SmackDown now. Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns, yes, they do have a match at Backlash, but that's only going to be a one-time thing for now. That's a good thing though, because then they're saving Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns for later on down the line, sometime probably early next year or late next year, late 2019 at the earliest. So I think Jinder Mahal gets the United States Championship back, and then The Miz gets back his Intercontinental Championship. So the United States Championship goes to Raw, and the Intercontinental Championship goes to SmackDown. A couple singles matches, and then the 50-man Royal Rumble match are still on the card. First singles match I'll go through, John Cena and Triple H. Cena, I believe the last 5, 6, or 7 pay-per-views matches that he's lost, especially with WrestleMania 34 with The Undertaker. It was a squash match, lost in less than 3 minutes, I think. He's going up against Triple H now. Both these guys have been, still are faces of the WWE. They're going over to Saudi Arabia. Don't really know a whole lot about Saudi Arabia, so if you're from Saudi Arabia, if you would like to let me know down in the comments below who is more popular, please do so. I think Triple H is going to win, but I could also see something happening. They both get counted out, and then they both, both get a good reaction from the crowd, because they're both, like I said, still faces of the WWE. So I think I'm going to pick Triple H, but it's hard to tell what's going to happen. Casket match then is next. First casket match in WWE in over 10 years. The Undertaker is going to face Rusev. This match was originally scheduled to be The Undertaker versus Rusev. Then WWE pulled Rusev out of the match put Chris Jericho in it, and then a day later they put Rusev back in the match. Rusev alongside AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, I'd say Shinsuke, up on the main roster, just to name a few off the top of my head, are the most over guys in the company at the moment. And now you're putting Rusev in a casket match against The Undertaker. We all know what's going to happen here. The Undertaker is going to win. He's going to put Rusev in a casket and shut the casket. Match is over. Question is, how long is this match going to be? Is it going to be longer than the Cena match at WrestleMania? It's hard to tell. We'll have to see come Friday on the WWE Network. But I think The Undertaker will defeat Rusev. The WWE Championship match now. I'll get into both championship matches now. AJ Styles is going to be defending his WWE Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura in a rematch from WrestleMania 34. The Universal Championship match is also a rematch from WrestleMania 34. I think AJ retains, not being racist or anything like that. Shinsuke is Japanese. They are in Saudi Arabia. You put those two together, it just doesn't mix. It doesn't add up. I think Shinsuke does get the title. I thought he was going to win at WrestleMania, and then hell, he turned heel. And if I can talk, Shinsuke Nakamura is better as a heel, I think, as a face in the WWE. He wrestled over in Japan for how long, and was basically the face of Japanese wrestling until he came to the WWE with AJ Styles and Gallows and Anderson, otherwise known as the Bullet Club, who reunited on SmackDown this past week as well in a 6-man tag against Rusev Day, Rusev, Aiden English, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And then we got a beatdown. We also got new entrance music from Shinsuke as well. Something different, you know. I got to get used to it because I was so used to the old Nakamura entrance and music. But Shinsuke, I think he'll get the title very, very soon. I thought he was going to get it at WrestleMania, like I said. I think he'll get it probably at Backlash. Maybe at Money in the Bank. Maybe they have him win Money in the Bank. I don't know. That's not until June. So we still got, you know, almost 2 months before then. But Styles retains at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Nakamura hopefully gets the WWE Championship very, very soon. And then the Universal Championship match. Brock Lesnar is going to be defending his Universal Championship against Roman Reigns in a rematch from WrestleMania 34, as I said, inside a steel cage. So I really don't know. Also, like I said, I really don't know a whole lot about Saudi Arabia, so I don't know if they like Brock Lesnar more or if they like Roman Reigns more. Everybody thought Roman was going to win the title at WrestleMania, and he didn't. Brock walked out still champion, re-signed with the WWE. Reportedly can still go fight in UFC if he wants to. I think he does. Roman, I think, will beat Lesnar inside the steel cage. I don't think he'll pin him, though. I think he'll escape the cage, because then when they do bring Brock back, they can say, well, he was never pinned when he lost his Universal Championship, and then it puts him right back in the mix, makes him champion again, you know, whenever. But I think Roman Reigns wins, and then, as I said, Seth Rollins loses the Intercontinental Championship. It's a ladder match. He's not going to get pinned, so he can go back in the Intercontinental Championship picture in the future as well. And then Finn Balor, I think you throw him in the mix with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. It's coming up on almost 2 years since Finn Balor and Seth Rollins went toe-to-toe at SummerSlam 2016 for the inaugural Universal Championship in the inaugural match. And then he got hurt. Balor got hurt in the match. Next night on Raw, had to give up the title. Didn't come back till the night after WrestleMania 33 last year. It's almost been 2 years since he won the Universal Championship, and has yet to get a rematch. So I think you have Reigns win. I think you throw Rollins, Balor into the Universal Championship picture. I think you also throw Braun Strowman into the mix as well. I think if you do want in the future, if they want to keep this Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns feud going, and then you officially, Brock retires, he's done with professional wrestling, and Braun has yet to win a championship. At that point, you have Braun Strowman beat Brock Lesnar, but Roman Reigns are still trying to get him to be the face of the company, get him over with the fans. Everybody, there are people out there that like him, but there's more people out there that hate Roman Reigns. So, but I think Reigns will win because everybody thought he was going to win Mania, but who knows? Vince might have something else up his sleeve. It's hard to tell, especially with this event being in Saudi Arabia. I think Reigns wins. Put Rollins, Balor, Strowman in the Universal Championship picture. For the United States Championship picture, as I said, you have Jinder Mahal in. You have Baron Corbin now on Raw. You have Chad Gable now on Raw. Jason Jordan will probably be coming back here very, very soon from injury. I think you throw them into the United States Championship picture then. The Intercontinental Championship picture. Daniel Bryan, obviously. They'll be working. They'll be getting at people. They'll be working it up until probably WrestleMania next year. Maybe SummerSlam this year. Maybe have a summer feud between The Miz and Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship. We'll have to see. You have Big Cass back on SmackDown now. Came back from injury. Cut a great promo last night on Miz TV. You also have Samoa Joe. As I said, is on SmackDown Live now. I came over in Superstar Shakeup. I was really surprised about that, but I'm happy about it though at the same time because there's more potential for him, I think, on SmackDown right now than on Raw. I'm trying to think who else is on SmackDown. I think I have a list because the next match, the last match, which will probably be an hour and a half, 2 hours, probably the longest match in WWE history, the 50-man Royal Rumble match. Greatest Royal Rumble match, excuse me, because they're billing this as the greatest Royal Rumble event. As I said earlier, we'll have to see if that stays true. Maybe you have Shelton Benjamin in the Intercontinental Championship picture. He has been an Intercontinental Champion before. Chris Jericho, if he comes back. Randy Orton's also on SmackDown. But the 50-man Royal Rumble, these, as I said, going to be a long-ass match. Probably going to get boring at times, but then they'll spice it up. They'll have people who aren't announced come out. Believe me, they'll have some surprise entrants. They'll have some surprises for all of us. But the people who are advertised for this Greatest Royal Rumble match from Raw, the Big Show, Braun Strowman, Raw General Manager Kurt Angle, Apollo Crews, who they changed his name back to Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, so both members of Titus Worldwide, Elias, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, Bobby Roode, who is now on Monday Night Raw as well, and then Cammy, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Then the superstars from SmackDown Live, Daniel Bryan, who is probably a favorite for a lot of people, along with the New Day, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Shelton Benjamin, as I said, Sin Cara, Chris Jericho, SmackDown Commissioner, Shane McMahon, and Randy Orton. And then the WWE also announced just moments ago that Rey Mysterio, the Great Khali, and Mark Henry, who was just inducted into this year's WWE Hall of Fame, will also be in this match. If I had to pick somebody to win at the moment, as I said, Daniel Bryan is probably a favorite for a lot of people, but Braun Strowman, I think will win this match. He's one of the most over guys in the company, as I said, along with whoever else I said a moment ago. Trying to think off the top of my head who's some of the most over superstars in the WWE at the moment, but I think Braun Strowman will win. Yes, the only thing they're getting for winning this match is a stupid trophy. Normally Royal Rumble match, you get a championship match at WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the main event of WrestleMania. We've seen the past 2 years, though, it hasn't been the main event. It's been one of the, if you want to co-main event it, that's what they've been doing. But this year, you're only getting a trophy. So those are my predictions for this this Friday's Greatest Royal Rumble event from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Most of the company, most all the superstars, if not all of them, are already over there. I believe Saudi Arabia is a day ahead of the United States. This will be actually taking place Saturday night in Saudi Arabia, but it's going to be on Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time in the United States, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. So as I said earlier, people out on the West Coast, you're going to have to get up very, very early. Very, very early to watch the entirety of this Greatest Royal Rumble event. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. All the links for all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, that's how you're watching. And then, as I said, Periscope, which I will be live on Thursday night for the 2018 NFL Draft, the first round of the draft, and for this WWE Greatest Royal Rumble event, I will be on Periscope for that as well on Friday. So hopefully you, as I said, like this video, and hope to see everybody on Periscope this week.